We went to Universal Studios Japan in Osaka, Japan, and had a great time. We were there from open to close, so 12 hours. We'll show you how it's different from the United States and what makes Universal Studios Japan unique. Here's the trip. We flew in the night before. We had booked the Parkfront hotel, and then we got COVID and had to cancel everything. So when I went to rebook, that hotel wasn't available anymore. So we stayed right next to it at the Hotel Kaihan Universal Tower. We had an interesting experience at the hotel, but I'll save that for a different video. The hotel was great. There were 5 beds. This is kind of typical in Japan. You'll see a lot of single beds or twin size beds, as opposed to having queen size beds. And this is a Western style room too, so it did have the beds that you may be used to, what we would consider standard beds in the States, as opposed to the traditional Japanese bedding. It had a nice bathroom, it had plenty of room. If you're interested in seeing some of the Japanese style hotel rooms, I'll link a video I did in a resort that we stayed at that definitely had traditional style rooms. The views were great, we could see the park from our hotel. This hotel had an onsen on the top floor with beautiful views. You could see everything, a lot of Osaka in that area, but like many onsens in Japan, you can't have tattoos and go in, so I wasn't able to go into the onsen. But we did go up there and look out, and it was beautiful. We were staying right on the boardwalk, so we were able to walk right to the park from our hotel. We took a train from the airport to get to the hotel, but then it was all walking from there. And this boardwalk was complete with a Hard Rock Cafe, which of course we had to eat at the first night we got in, because that really does make us feel like we're back in the States.
I see King Kong.
Before we headed into the park, we stopped at one of Japan's famous convenience stores. Saw some interesting stuff like the candy type cheese with black pepper and regular candy type cheese. And then we made our way in. Of course, before we got all the way into the park, we had to stop and get the classic picture in front of the Universal globe. And of course, you have to wait until Universal's facing you. It was pretty busy. I'm sure it wasn't as busy as a pre-COVID park, but it was still busy. We were there in late July of 2022, and the wait times for most of the popular rides was about an hour. But for single riders, most rides were still accessible within about 20 minutes. Sometimes it's best to split up for a faster trip to the front of the line. First stop, Harry Potter World. So I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan. It's not that I don't like it, I just haven't really read the books or watched the movies, so I don't really know much about it except for what my kids tell me. My kids love Harry Potter, especially my oldest daughter, so this was definitely her main focus. I did like the butterbeer. Let's be real, it's basically just cream soda, but it's delicious, and I love cream soda, so it was a fun experience. And this was my youngest's first trip to a real amusement park. I'll just say, for all the kids, after walking for 12 hours, mostly in the sun, they didn't slow down at all. So in the Harry Potter world, there was a roller coaster outside, and then there's another roller coaster that basically tours the castle, which is the coolest thing ever for Harry Potter fans. It was still a fun ride for me, even though I didn't really know what I was actually looking at the whole time. And this was my youngest's first experience on a real roller coaster.
Ooh. Are you excited for the ride?
Yes.
Should I film you screaming like a crazy person?
Yes.
Okay. I can do that.
Dad, hold on me for this part.
I'm holding on to you.
We went into the wand shop and there were so many wands. And they start at about $30, and I think they get well into the hundreds depending on which wand you want. They have a little show there at the wand store where they do a little scene from the movie. My daughter, who's obsessed with Harry Potter, was the one who was chosen to receive the wand at this show. Maybe it was fate, maybe they saw her Harry Potter t-shirt, but either way, she was chosen out of our small group in the castle, and since the wands were so expensive, she was the only one that ended up taking home a wand, which makes sense because she is the most interested in Harry Potter.
You see, オレガンダの杖はすべて強力な魔力を持ったものを真に使っている魔法使いと杖がBirch カバの木でできた杖15 inches rather pliable. Let's see if you can levitate one of those wand boxes. Give it away and say Wingardium Leviosa. Interesting. Then I thought, ちょっと違う。Repel! Let's see if you can make that bell ring once. So I'll get take one. Raise your wand. You're doing very well. Wonder. I've been saving this one. Elder. 14 inches. Rigid. Ganjo. Try this one. There it is! Perfect fit. Your loyalty is much admired among your friends.
We also rode the Spider-Man ride, which interestingly enough seems to be pretty much the same 3D style ride that my wife and I rode in Island of Adventure in Orlando, Florida about 15 years ago. We got to check out the Jurassic Park ride. That one was fun. The littles were a little afraid of some of the dinosaurs and things that they had going on. There was fire in it and everything. I would have filmed a little bit more, but they told me to stop filming. There was also a Despicable Me ride that was fun, kind of a Minion ride. And we ended the trip at Nintendo World, which was pretty cool, but I would have to say overall, I think the Harry Potter area was probably my favorite, which is interesting because I'm not really interested in Harry Potter, but it's definitely where they put the most attention at the entire park. Overall, Universal Studios Japan is quite similar to the States with some expected differences, but even where we ate for lunch was an American-style diner, and honestly, that and the entire trip made us feel like we were back home in the States, just for a day. That brings our trip to an end. That is all for today. I will see you next week.